My beloved, my dearest child of light, do you feel it, that strange stirring in your heart right now, that slight trembling in your hands, the way your breath caught for just a moment when you read the first few words? That is not by accident, that is heaven reaching into your moment, pulling you into this divine space. There's a reason you found yourself here at this very second. This is not just another message floating by on a screen. This is a whisper wrapped in thunder, a signal from above nudging you to pause. I have held these words for a long time, not because I wanted to keep them from you, but because God's timing had not yet clicked into place. Archangel Michael says, "Have been with you longer than you realize. I stood beside you in the quiet battles you thought you were fighting alone. In the long nights where fear crept close and your mind replayed every hurtful word, I was there holding the line. I saw the moments when shadows leaned close to your bed, whispering that you were not enough, and I answered with light. I watched smiles in daylight hide sharp intentions at night. I stayed silent because heaven had not yet opened the seal. But now the seal is open. The waiting is over. The truth is here and it will stir your heart. So I beg you, don't scroll away. Don't think I'll listen later. The words flowing toward you right now carry a living spark. If you walk away, the moment will pass and what heaven carved out for you in this breath of time may slip by unseen. Before I go deeper, let me say this: if your heart feels drawn closer, if you feel that inner nudge that says pay attention, it's because you're standing on the threshold of rare blessings, ones heaven has been saving for you. Stay with me till the end and you will understand what God meant for you to hear tonight. And if you haven't yet joined the circle where I speak daily, where heaven's whispers reach you before they fade like morning mist, do so now. That's how you'll never again miss the messages that can steer the course of your life. Beloved, I must speak a truth that is not easy. The person you trusted most, the one you thought would always stand by you, has done something behind your back that heaven cannot overlook. Perhaps you sensed it already, a change in their tone, a flicker in their eyes, a pause too long in a familiar conversation. You brushed it aside, telling yourself no, not them, but the truth was quietly unfolding, hidden from sight. This isn't rumor. This isn't human suspicion. This is divine exposure. God has seen every whispered conversation, every masked smile, every secret deal that carried your name where it shouldn't have gone. It wasn't a stranger who first moved against you, it was someone inside your circle of trust. They carried your story into hands that meant you harm, thinking you'd never know. But you will know. You will not just learn the truth, you will see God turn the tables. The same lips that spoke in betrayal will falter when heaven moves. And heaven is about to move quickly. In the days ahead, expect the unexpected, an unplanned phone call, a message out of the blue, perhaps even a face from your past. Don't dismiss these moments, each will be a thread, a small clue pulling you closer to the full picture. Yet I must warn you, the enemy would love for you to shrug this off as just another message. Don't. This is a divine alarm, an open scroll in the heavens with your name written on it. What I'm sharing isn't just a story. It's not simply a warning. It's a living stream flowing straight from the heart of God, carried by my hands to rest now in yours. Even as you read, the words vibrate in the unseen. Angels lean in to listen. The enemy trembles because a light is about to shatter something they have built in the dark for months, even years. I waited because the timing had to be right. If the truth is revealed before the soil is ready, the seed can be stolen. But now your heart is ready, not just to receive the truth, but to stand on it, walk through it and rise higher because of it. The one who betrayed you didn't stumble into it by mistake. A voice not God's whispered into their weak moments, convincing them that giving away pieces of your trust would somehow lift them up. They didn't realize that in betraying you they stepped into a shadow they cannot escape. And you, beloved, you will be the one God vindicates before every watching eye. Already the first winds of exposure are stirring. Have you felt it, that strange shift around certain people, the way conversations stop when you enter the heaviness in your spirit after hearing some voices? That's not paranoia, it's discernment. Heaven is lifting the veil. But you must be wise. This is not your battle to fight with anger or in your own strength. If you do, you'll step outside heaven's covering. That is why I am here in this exact hour. You are given the truth not to feed your rage but to strengthen your faith. God says, "Watch what I do with it." You don't need to hunt down every whisper or confront every shadow. The confrontation will come, but it will not be by your hand. It will come from the throne itself. And when heaven confronts, there is no hiding, no denying, no pretending. Even now as you take these words in the air around you shifts. That quiet sense that someone is standing beside you, that's the Spirit of the Lord whispering, "I see, I am here, I will act." And yet the choice remains with you. You can lean in, stay beneath this covering, follow the signs I will point you toward, or you can shrug and walk away as though this were nothing more than words on a screen. The path you choose will shape the way heaven's message unfolds in your life. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks with contributions of up to $100. Even as I speak, I can feel the shift rumbling like distant thunder rolling over the horizon. The air around your life is beginning to change. What was once hidden in deep shadow is now standing beneath the dawn. The enemy's whispers that once echoed unchallenged are being drowned out by the sound of truth breaking through. Beloved, the Lord has not been idle. Every sigh you let out in secret, every tear you brushed away so no one would see has been counted and stored like precious drops of rain. And now the clouds that held those tears are about to burst, not in sorrow but in showers of breakthrough. Listen carefully. The people who smiled at you with eyes full of envy will soon have to watch as the very doors they tried to close swing wide before you. They will not be able to claim credit for your rise, nor will they be able to explain it away. For it will be obvious to all that it was the hand of heaven that lifted you. I have walked the dark halls of unseen battles on your behalf. I have struck down the schemes that sought to weave themselves into your future like hidden thorns. There were moments when you felt alone, but I was there standing like a sentinel, sword drawn, keeping you steady when your knees wanted to buckle. Do not think for a moment that your journey has been wasted. Every wound you received is now a healed scar that glows with the wisdom of experience. Every delay you hated has built a strength inside you that can carry the weight of what is coming. This is why heaven allowed the truth to ripen in secret. Because a fruit plucked too early sours before it can nourish. I want you to understand this: the exposure you are about to witness is not meant to humiliate you but to vindicate you. It is not your job to drag the mask from anyone's face, it is heaven's hand that will reveal it. And when it happens, you will not have to raise your voice. The facts themselves will speak and the light will do the rest. Stay steady. Do not let the tremors in your heart push you into rash words or angry moves. Your silence in these coming moments will be louder than any argument. The one who sought to harm you will find themselves undone by the very trap they set. Even now I can see angels positioning themselves like sentries at the crossroads ahead of you. They are not only guarding you, they are guiding you toward opportunities that once felt out of reach. Contracts will appear. Conversations that were delayed will suddenly resume. People who once dismissed you will look for you again, not out of pity but out of recognition. But hear this warning: as the tide turns in your favor, the enemy will attempt one last subtle distraction. It may come as a thought of self-doubt, whispering that you are not ready. It may show up as a tempting shortcut that looks like an easier way forward but leads into a snare. Remember this moment. Remember these words. Do not be lured off the path you are walking now. You have carried the weight of betrayal, but it will not define your future. In the story heaven is writing about you, this betrayal will be a mere footnote beneath the headline of your victory. And yes, the day is near when you will sit at a table spread with abundance, not in a faraway vision but in your real life. Those who doubted you, who whispered behind closed doors, will see the table set before their very eyes. And you will not need to gloat or boast, for your peace and your joy will say more than words ever could. Beloved child, breathe. The heavy night you have endured is not your final season. I tell you, the dawn is already breaking, even if your eyes cannot yet see the full light. You have walked long enough in the valley, the path is now inclining upward. Stand still in your faith. Hold your peace as the shifting continues. For soon you will realize that the shaking you felt was not to break you but to loosen everything that was never meant to stay attached to you. You will look back at these days not with bitterness but with awe, realizing that even betrayal served as a strange servant of your destiny, pushing you out of circles you had outgrown, separating you from hearts that could not walk with you into the next chapter. This is the moment to let go of fear and cling to the promise that has been hovering over your life since the day you first believed you were seen by God. The sword in my hand is not raised in anger but in protection, cutting through invisible cords that tried to tie you down to old pain. And as I cut them, you will feel lighter, freer, ready to step forward without the drag of yesterday's shadows. Be still. Watch. For the unveiling will not be delayed any longer. And when it comes, it will be so swift that you will realize the wait was only to align the pieces perfectly. I tell you this not to fill you with dread but to fill you with hope. For hope is the anchor that will keep you steady when the revelation shakes the ground beneath others. The very ones who thought they were ahead of you will be astonished to see you lifted higher than they imagined. And those who pitied you will be stunned into silence by the grace that now clothes your life. Beloved, remember this as I end this word: you are not alone and you never were. Heaven has always been closer than your breath. And as the curtain rises on this next chapter, you will see clearly that what was meant to harm you has become the bridge that carried you into the fulfillment of your purpose. Stay anchored in faith. Keep your heart pure. Let the justice of God, not the noise of anger, be the sound that fills your days ahead. Beloved, in the coming days you may notice the world around you grow strangely quiet. Do not be alarmed by that silence. Heaven sometimes lowers the volume of everything else so that your heart can catch the sound of God's direction. What looks like distance from people is actually closeness to the voice that matters most. You will also sense a change in yourself. Old fears that once shook you will suddenly feel smaller, like shadows retreating at dawn. That is not your imagination. That is the power of God fortifying you for the chapter ahead. The same places where you once hesitated will now feel like doors you are ready to walk through. But hear this clearly, my beloved, as heaven draws near, the enemy will attempt one last desperate move. It will come dressed as familiarity, a friendly voice from the past, a sudden apology that feels too smooth, an invitation to revisit what you have already left behind. When that moment arrives, remember my words. Not every knock at your door deserves to be opened. Some are meant to be left unanswered. Already the unseen realm is in motion. I see chains snapping in places you didn't even know you were bound. I see roads being straightened that once wound in confusing circles. I see your name being whispered in rooms you have not yet entered by lips that never intended to speak well of you. This is how heaven shifts things, quietly at first, then all at once. Do not be surprised when some who once ignored you suddenly seek your attention. Their curiosity will not be because of you alone, but because they can sense a wind of favor blowing around your life. Stay humble. Let your focus remain on the one who called you, not on the applause that may follow. The shaking in the camp of those who schemed against you is not over. They will attempt to patch their crumbling plans, but the cracks will only widen. They will reach for what once seemed within their grasp only to find it slipping through their fingers like sand. This is the justice of heaven at work, slow to start but unstoppable once it begins. My beloved, there is a reason heaven reveals things in stages. Too much light at once would blind the eyes that have grown used to the dark. That is why you are being shown piece by piece, layer by layer, so that your heart can keep pace with the unveiling. Do not rush it. The same God who began this exposure knows exactly when to bring it to completion. And as for you, guard your heart. Bitterness is a thief that steals tomorrow's joy by clinging to yesterday's pain. Refuse it. Choose instead the calm strength that comes from trusting the justice of God. You do not have to prove anything. The truth will speak for itself in time. I must tell you this as well, not every loss you grieve is truly a loss. Some connections fall away not because you failed but because you outgrew the soil that could no longer nourish you. A tree does not mourn the shedding of its leaves when a new season arrives. So too you will look back and realize that what left you was clearing space for what was destined to arrive. Beloved, there will be signs, subtle at first then unmistakable. A dream that lingers in your mind at dawn. A scripture that finds you twice in the same day. A conversation overheard that feels like an answer you did not know you were asking for. Do not dismiss these as chance. These are the gentle taps of heaven guiding your steps. Even as I speak, I see angels positioned like sentries along the path before you. They are not there to frighten you but to assure you that the way forward has been secured. You are not walking into an uncharted wilderness. You are stepping into territory already claimed on your behalf. Take courage, for the moment that once felt far off is drawing near. The crown that was promised is not an ornament of pride but a sign of completion, the fulfillment of what you endured for so long. Heaven does not crown the untested. You have been tested, refined and found ready. And I tell you this with all the authority given to me, the same lips that once spread lies about you will one day speak blessings over you. The same tables where you were excluded will soon seek your presence. The same voices that doubted your journey will be compelled to acknowledge the hand of God on your life. Do not let impatience rob you of the sweetness of this unfolding season. Trust that the delays were not denials but alignments. Like a bow being drawn back, you are being positioned for greater reach. Now the arrow is ready to be released and nothing can halt its flight. So stand firm. Stay alert. Keep your heart free of resentment and your ears open to the whisper of God. This story is not ending in defeat but in vindication. The turning point you are standing in will be remembered not as the moment of your breaking but as the hour of your rising. I have spoken what I was sent to speak. Now watch as heaven moves and remember the justice of God is not merely retribution against the wrong but restoration of the right. And what is restored to you will come pressed down, shaken together and running over more than what was ever taken. So that it can no longer hide behind smiles and polite words. My beloved, do not be afraid of what is being revealed. The light does not expose to shame you, it exposes so that you may finally be free. For too long the enemy's strategy was to keep you entangled by invisible chains, chains made of misplaced trust, unseen agreements, and words spoken against you in secret. But when rot comes to the surface it loses its power. That is why heaven has allowed this season to unfold as it has. You may wonder, why didn't God warn me sooner? Hear me, it was not delay, it was precision. There is a moment when revealing the truth causes the deepest impact, not just on you but on those who need to witness the difference between light and darkness. That moment is now. That is why even the heavens seem to lean closer to the earth as I speak. And as the hidden things rise, the blessings long delayed begin to move. Already angels are being dispatched to deliver what was withheld. I see doors opening that once seemed sealed with iron bolts. I see resources being redirected to you from places you never thought to look. These are not coincidences. They are part of the restoration. Do not think that this exposure is meant to leave you standing in ruins. No, this is heaven's demolition before reconstruction. Just as a garden must be cleared of weeds before new seeds can take root, so must your life be cleared of certain influences before the next season begins. I tell you this with certainty, the one who betrayed you did not just betray you, they violated a divine appointment. That is why the weight of heaven's justice now presses on the situation. This is not about your pride being hurt, it is about God's promise being protected. You may notice in these days that even your emotions feel different. Things that once shook you will no longer move you as they did. That is not hardness of heart, it is the strengthening of your spirit. The pain of betrayal is giving way to the peace of release. But I warn you again, guard your heart against bitterness. Bitterness is a clever thief. It disguises itself as courage and as righteous anger, but it quietly drains your joy and blinds your eyes to new opportunities. Release the bitterness as you would release a heavy stone from your hand. You cannot receive what is next if your hands are still gripping what was lost. Beloved, heaven's justice is already in motion. Those who schemed against you will find their steps slowed. Those who whispered lies will stumble over their own words. And you standing still in faith will see doors open without knocking, paths cleared without striving, and favor flowing without pleading. There will be moments that surprise you, a message from someone you once counted out, an opportunity that comes disguised as a small beginning but grows into something mighty, even a quiet evening where the peace you feel is unlike anything you have known in years. These are the proofs that heaven's hand is on your journey. I tell you this too, some relationships will fall away in the coming weeks. Not in anger, but as leaves fall from a tree when the season shifts. Do not cling to what heaven is pruning, do not grieve over what is being removed. Let it go, for the new growth requires the old to make room. Remember, the betrayal you have endured was never about defeating you. It was about distracting you from your purpose. The enemy could not destroy the promise, so he tried to distort your focus. But now that the snare is exposed, your eyes will lock again on the path laid out for you before you even drew your first breath. I see in the Spirit the preparation of a table. Not in some distant place, but right in the sight of those who doubted you. It is a table of honor, of renewed strength, and of opportunities that were once withheld. It will be seen by many, so that none can deny that the Lord Himself has lifted you. And yet even as you rise, remain humble. Do not allow your heart to be lifted in pride. Let gratitude be the banner over every step you take. For the same God who lifts you now, is the one who kept you through the valley. Mark my words, this season is not just about exposure or even about restoration. It is about realignment. You are being moved into position for assignments you have not yet dreamed of. That is why the battle has been so fierce, because what lies ahead carries impact far beyond your personal story. You will find that your discernment grows sharper. You will sense in conversations what is genuine and what is false. You will know when to speak and when to stay silent. This is part of the new wisdom being poured into you. In the nights to come, as you rest, you may feel the nearness of the divine more keenly than before. Do not be unsettled by this. It is a sign of the new closeness you are stepping into. Visions may come in dreams, gentle impressions in prayer, even in the quiet moments of your day. These are all confirmations that the season has shifted. Beloved, as you read these words, I stand beside you still, sword drawn, wings spread wide. Not one scheme formed against you will stand. The season of silent endurance has ended. The season of visible vindication has begun. Take courage in this, what the enemy meant to bury you, has instead become the very ground from which your next chapter will spring forth. You are not stepping into survival, you are stepping into abundance. You are not ending in sorrow, you are beginning in strength. So let your heart lift, even as your eyes watch and wait. The story is not ending in betrayal, it is turning into testimony. And this testimony will be one that points not to the pain of the past, but to the faithfulness of the God who never let you go. Beloved, do not hand your peace over to the chaos of their last attempts. The silence you feel right now is not the absence of movement, it is the hush that comes before a great wind begins to stir. Heaven is aligning details that no human eye can yet see. It may seem as though your prayers have reached a still horizon, but trust me, the answer is not delayed, it is gathering momentum. The moment that felt like your breaking point, is about to be revealed as the very hinge on which your destiny swings open. Understand this, the betrayer's plan was never as strong as it looked. They mistook access for authority. They confused your kindness for weakness. They believed that their whispers in hidden rooms could outweigh the decree of heaven over your life. But the weight of a divine word is heavier than any conspiracy. Even now the very schemes they sowed against you are becoming the soil from which your next season will bloom. The laughter they shared behind closed doors will be silenced, not by your retaliation, but by the unfolding of truth. I tell you this, as one who has watched the battlefield from the first strike to this very hour, you have already outlasted the most dangerous part of the assault. The aim of the enemy was never merely to steal opportunities, it was to fracture your faith, to drain your hope, to make you turn on yourself. They could not. That resilience you carried, the nights you whispered prayers instead of curses, the mornings you rose despite the weight on your chest has been your unseen victory. That resilience is why heaven now moves on your behalf with such force. In the days ahead, you will sense a shift that is subtle at first, a conversation you overhear, an email that arrives unexpectedly, an invitation that opens a path you thought had been closed. These are not random. They are signals. Pay attention to them, but do not rush them. The unveiling will not creep forward timidly, it will strike like a sudden sunrise. One moment the night will seem unbroken, the next every shadow will be gone. When that hour arrives, remember what I tell you now, you will not need to justify yourself to anyone. Truth like a river released from a dam will speak with its own thunder. Guard your heart in the meantime. The enemy will seek to lure you into petty disputes, to provoke words that drain your energy. Refuse the bait. Stay anchored in stillness. Do not let their noise rewrite your narrative. Bitterness may try to dress itself as strength, but it is a chain, not a sword. Release the need to repay offense. Release the hunger to see them fall. Leave the weight of justice in hands more capable than yours. Know this also, mercy does not mean restoring old chains. When they come with apologies, as some will, listen not only to their words but to the spirit behind them. Some apologies will be genuine, others will be crafted to save face. This next season is holy ground. Not every voice from your past can walk with you into it. To carry the fresh oil you must travel lighter than before. As the dust of the unveiling settles, you will not merely recover what was lost. You will step into terrain you once thought unreachable. Relationships you thought were beyond repair will be healed, but not on old terms, on new healthier ground. Opportunities you assumed were gone forever will reappear with added favor. Doors you knocked on in vain will open of their own accord, because heaven itself will push them wide. Provision will flow where there was once scarcity. The very timeline you thought had been shattered will accelerate in your favor. I urge you, do not minimize what is happening. This is not just a personal victory, it is a repositioning for a higher calling. The story that once seemed defined by loss will now become a testimony of restoration. And those who once mocked your faith will have no choice but to acknowledge the hand of God over your life. They will see it in the way your countenance shines lighter, in the peace that settles over you, in the fruit that begins to multiply around you. This is why I have lingered close, speaking not as a distant herald but as a guardian who has fought alongside you. I have seen the moments when you felt unseen. I have witnessed the nights when your tears watered the ground beneath your bed. I have marked the whispers of your heart that no one else heard. None of it was wasted. Every tear was counted, every prayer stored, every small act of trust recorded in the courts of heaven. The season you are entering now is not the reward for suffering, it is the unveiling of who you have always been beneath the weight of the trial. The world will see what heaven has known all along, that you were chosen not just to endure but to rise. That your heart though pierced still beats in rhythm with divine purpose. That your faith though tested has come forth as gold refined by fire. And so I say again, be still. Let the silence of this hour be sacred, not heavy. It is the quiet that precedes the sound of gates opening. Hold your head high, not in pride but in trust. The ground beneath your feet, though it once trembled with uncertainty, is firm now, because it is anchored in a promise that cannot be revoked. The story is not ending in betrayal, it is unfolding into triumph. And as I stand watch, sword drawn and wings unfurled, I will not rest until the full measure of what was promised to you stands in plain sight for all to see. Alliances that will honor the call upon your life, relationships that carry integrity rather than hidden agendas. This is why heaven is so precise in this season. Not everyone can walk into the next chapter with you. Some were meant only for a previous page, and their presence beyond that would weigh you down like an anchor dragging against a tide. Beloved, I tell you plainly, as the curtain lifts, some faces you once trusted will fade from view. Do not chase them. Do not mourn what is being removed, for in the soil where old roots are torn away, new seeds will be planted. Seeds of promise, seeds of restoration, seeds of joy. There will be friendships you haven't yet imagined waiting at the threshold of this new season. There will be mentors, partners, even quiet helpers whose hands will steady you as you step higher. These are not random arrivals, they are divine appointments, chosen because they will protect rather than exploit the treasure placed within you. But hear me, in the space between the breaking away and the arriving of the new, there will be a hush, a strange stillness that may tempt you to question if you've been abandoned. That is not abandonment, that is transition. Think of the moment when the seed lies buried in the dark soil, no light, no visible movement, yet within it the life is breaking open. This is where you are now. Let patience be your companion, for impatience can make a soul grasp for what is familiar instead of waiting for what is destined. I have watched the enemy try to provoke you in this waiting season, through sudden memories, through unexpected whispers of accusation, through old wounds reopened. Do not take the bait. The enemy's last weapon is distraction, because they cannot undo the decree that has already been written over you. Keep your heart steady. Keep your words few and seasoned with grace. Keep your eyes fixed on the one who called you. And listen carefully to what I say next. The revealing that is coming will not only expose the schemes of one who betrayed you, it will uncover the deeper pattern behind them. You will recognize how this battle was never merely about you and that person, it was about the assignment you carry. The enemy feared the reach of your influence if left unhindered. But that fear will now be their undoing, for in their attempt to silence you they have only amplified the testimony of your endurance. Soon you will look back at these long nights and realize that heaven was never late. The delays were not denials, they were protections, like a shepherd leading you the long way around a cliff's edge so that you would arrive unharmed. You will see how even the betrayal became a strange kind of mercy, removing a presence that would have sabotaged your future if allowed to remain. When the day of unveiling arrives, it will come like dawn breaking over a storm-tossed sea, sudden, irreversible, unstoppable. The whispers behind your back will be silenced by the clarity of the light. Those who hesitated to stand with you will be left with no defense for their doubts. And you, beloved, will not need to shout. The truth itself will be your voice. I must prepare you for the flood that follows. Not just the flood of vindication, but the flood of opportunity. With new doors opening quickly, you will need discernment to know which ones to step through first. Every invitation will not be a divine one, some will be distractions dressed as favor. Lean into the wisdom that has been forged in you through these trials. Trust the still small voice that has guided you in quieter days. There is also a warning I cannot withhold: as your influence grows, so will the attention of those who would rather ride on your blessing than walk their own path of obedience. Do not confuse compassion with obligation. You are called to be generous, but you are not called to carry everyone. The road ahead is for the willing, not for the entitled. And I say this as one who has walked at your side unseen: you are stronger than you realize. Not because of your own striving, but because heaven's strength has been interwoven with your steps. The breaking did not break you, it revealed the steel in your spirit. The tears did not drown you, they watered the roots of your future joy. And the silence of past seasons was not emptiness, it was preparation for the voice that will now be heard through you. Beloved, lift your chin. The horizon before you is not a mirage. The promises spoken over your life are not fading echoes, they are living words still unfolding. The battle has bruised you, yes, but it has not defined you. The betrayal has wounded you, but it has not written your ending. The author of your story still holds the pen, and even now he is writing lines of redemption, of justice, of unexpected gladness. You have asked in quiet moments if all the pain would ever make sense. Soon you will see that it was not meaningless. The furnace you walked through was not to destroy you, but to burn away what could not carry you where you are going next. And as the ashes fall behind you, new shoots will rise at your feet. So stay anchored, as I said at the start. Hold steady in the hush before the dawn. Let those who wonder continue to wonder. You do not owe them an explanation. The unfolding of truth will be its own defense, and your peace will be the loudest testimony of all. I will not leave you until you stand fully in the place that was always marked for you. And when you do, you will see that heaven's hand was guiding you at every turn, even the painful ones. New opportunities are rising, my beloved, like dawn breaking after the longest night. These blessings were always yours, but they could not reach you while the roots of old betrayals clung so tightly to your foundation. Now, as those roots loosen and are torn away, the soil of your life is free for new things to grow. Even now I see doors once locked by the influence of those who wish to keep you small beginning to tremble on their hinges. Soon they will swing wide open, not with hesitation, but with a force that surprises even you. And when they open, you will realize just how much has been held back: resources that should have flowed long ago, friendships that were delayed, favor that felt forever out of reach. These will not come as a gentle drizzle, but as a river in full flood. The years of waiting will feel like a distant memory compared to the swift tide of abundance that rushes in. I know your heart feels heavy yet expectant, as if you're standing at the edge of something immense. That is because you truly are. The weight you feel is the last strain of the chains that are about to break. This breaking is not meant to harm you, it is the sound of long-held restraints snapping apart. When the curtain finally falls on this chapter, you will step forward lighter, quicker, freer. Those who once believed they had erased your name from the story will watch in disbelief as you take center stage in the act God Himself has written for you. And I promise you this, I will not retreat until the last shadow has been driven from your path. I have stood guard through your darkest nights, and I stand now with my sword drawn, wings outstretched, eyes fixed on the promise that cannot be stolen from you. We are not at the end yet, beloved. We have reached the turning point, the place where the tide changes. This is the hour when heaven's hand presses down upon the scales of justice, and every injustice begins to tip back in your favor. You felt it for weeks, perhaps even months, an unseen stirring in the atmosphere as if the very air has been holding its breath. That sense you've carried was not your imagination. The stage has been prepared. Every piece has been positioned. The curtain is about to fall on the darkness that has tried to remain hidden, and the light will pour in so swiftly it will leave those who dwelt in deception blinking, stunned by the brightness. I have walked the borders of your life, inspecting every wall and marking every breach. I have seen the betrayers slip in believing their steps would go unnoticed, that the sand would cover their tracks. But they forgot something vital: the ground beneath their feet belongs to God. The wind of His Spirit does not erase, it reveals. Every step they took has been preserved, and will lead straight back to them when the appointed hour comes. The moment of exposure will not creep in like a timid whisper, it will arrive as suddenly as thunder after lightning. One moment they will feel secure in the illusion of safety, the next they will stand face to face with the consequences they believed would never find them. And in that moment you will feel no fear. You will not need to defend yourself or speak a single word in your own defense. The truth will stand on its own, unshaken and undeniable. But beloved, it is what comes after that you must prepare for most carefully. This is the time when the enemy makes his final desperate attempt. They will come to you with words drenched in regret, with voices quivering as if burdened by remorse, weaving stories designed to make you question what you know to be true. They will try to wrap confusion around you like a net, to convince you that perhaps you were too harsh, that forgiveness must mean returning to old patterns. Listen carefully, forgiveness is holy, but going back to the same chains is not. Set your heart like flint on this truth. As the unveiling happens, your surroundings will shift. Some people will step closer, relieved at last to speak the truth they once held in silence. Others will slip away quietly, their loyalty revealed to have been with the one who opposed you. Let them go. Their departure is not your loss, it is the clearing of the field for the new harvest that is about to come. And then the blessings, yes, not one but a stream of them will begin to flow. Each will be greater than the last. What was taken will be returned, not merely restored but multiplied. Doors you never knew existed will open before you. Opportunities will gather around you like the rolling waves of the sea, and each blessing will bear the unmistakable imprint of heaven. You will see so clearly that these things come not by human hands, but as the reward of the one who saw every hidden wound and chose to honor your unwavering faithfulness. This new season will move swiftly. You must step forward boldly and make your decisions with confidence, for the windows that open will not remain open forever. These blessings are abundant, yes, but they are also purposeful. They are given to carry you into the fullness of your calling, into places you could not reach while you were still bound by betrayal. I tell you these things so that you will not hesitate when the moment comes. When the reveal happens, walk forward without delay. When the blessings pour in, receive them without apology. When new alliances form around you, trust the discernment I will place in your heart. Above all, keep your eyes on the one who authored this story from the very beginning. I will be by your side until the last shadow departs from your path. I will remain vigilant until every word God says over your life is fulfilled. And when you finally step into that moment of triumph, you will know, not just in your thoughts but in the deepest core of your being, that no betrayal, no scheme, no weapon can undo what heaven has sealed. This, my beloved, is your appointed hour. Step into it with courage, for I will not let you miss it. Amen.